My name is Skylar Hogan, and I did the Borax crystals experiment. Alright, so for the setup of the experiment, I just went to Meyer and bought like the cheapest white pipe cleaners they had, and then I used Borax and dental floss, which we tied the dental floss to the pipe cleaners to suspend it in the solution. And then we used the pen to put over top for the dental floss to hold on to, and then the jar is what held the mixture together. Alright, the method for setting up the experiment. So first we had to take the pipe cleaners and we kind of bent them in a spiral formation, and really you can do any shape that you want to. I just kind of went for a general circular shape. I think I used 3 pipe cleaners. My crystal is on the red pen in the corner picture, and my sister did one that was in the shape of a cat. Like I said, I don't think it really matters what shape you do, and then, so after you do that, you want to take the floss and tie it to the pipe cleaner, and then you want to measure it so then you know how far the pipe cleaner will hang down into the jar. You want to make sure that the pipe cleaner isn't touching any part of the jar so the crystals don't stick to the jar and the pipe cleaner, because then they could break. And then when you have the pen and everything all set up like you see in the bottom right picture, then you want to take a pot and start boiling some water. We didn't really do a specific amount, we just boiled a bunch of water. And then mine, we did as it just started to boil, we filled my jar. And my sister's, we did it, hers boiled longer than mine, so her water was a lot hotter. And then once it's boiling, you want to fill the jar up to this line. I put an arrow right there. We didn't really do any measurements, we kind of just went off of the video. And after you fill the jar with some water, you put borax in and mix it in. And you know when to stop when borax no longer mixes in and it just sits at the bottom of the jar. So again, no real measurements, we just kept pouring more in and mixing until eventually borax started sitting at the bottom of the jar and we knew it was saturated. Alright, so the results. My crystal and jars are on the left, and my sister's crystal and her jar is on the right. So my crystals were a lot bigger than hers. As I put the jars there because I think you can see it a little better in the jar picture than the crystal picture. And the crystal picture is kind of hard to see because they're white. But yeah, my crystals were quite a bit bigger than hers, and this could be due to I think I use a lot more borax because I watched the instruction video and I just kind of explained to her how to do it, and maybe I didn't explain it good enough and maybe she didn't put enough. Her jar is also a different size or a different shape. Like mine's really narrow with a wide top and hers is really wide all the way around, so I don't know if maybe that did anything. Um Also, maybe the shape of her pipe cleaner made it different. Like the fact that she made it into a cat rather than just a generic shape, maybe it made it harder for the crystals to stick to it. I guess I kind of already explained this, but this is just a closer up picture of the crystals. So as you can see, the left, it says ball on the jar. That one's mine. My crystals are quite a bit chunkier than hers, but hers are more scattered out, so maybe, I don't know if maybe the crystals are more scattered the smaller they are, or what could happen with that. Alright, and then conclusion. How might we be able to iron out details? We could iron out details of a complex process by setting up different simple experiments like this one, and we could alter little parts of the experiment to see the outcomes and what affects the outcomes. And then a detail that it relates back to is that chemical sedimentary rocks are formed by the same process, by precipitation of minerals or materials from the water. Precipitation is when dissolved materials come out of the water, and this is what is happening. The water is oversaturated with borax, so when it cools, the excess borax builds up on the pipe cleaner.